Alright, imagine watching someone die right in front of you, only to realize that death might just be another chapter in a never-ending story. Yeah, that's exactly how From Season 4, Episode 1 begins. And if you thought the show was confusing before, this episode basically says, hold my beer. Because now we're dealing with time loops, monsters being reborn, possible demonic deals, and a villain who can literally disguise himself as someone else. Welcome back to Your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. The episode opens with Jim's brutal death. The episode picks up immediately after the Season 3 finale. Jim is lying there helpless while the mysterious yellow suit man stands over him. And without hesitation, he brutally rips Jim's throat out. It's a shocking moment, but the scene becomes even stranger when we realize someone else is there watching, Julie. Except something about this version of Julie feels different. She doesn't react like someone who just arrived in the town. She looks like someone who has seen this before. Almost like she's been through another version of this moment in a different timeline.
And the yellow suit man notices this too. Instead of attacking her, he asks a very strange question. When did you come from? Not where, not why, but when. That single word confirms one of the biggest theories fans have had about the show. Julie might actually be able to move between different timelines or different cycles of the town's loop. It's almost like the town is a story that keeps repeating, every cycle acting like another chapter in a book, and Julie might be jumping between those chapters, trying to change the ending. But according to the yellow suit man, that's impossible. He calmly tells Julie that once a story has already been told, it can't be rewritten. And right when the tension is building, Julie suddenly disappears. Not running into the woods, not hiding, she literally vanishes into thin air, which is so unexpected that even the yellow suit man looks confused for a moment. Instead of chasing her, he turns back to Jim's body and says he's disappointed Jim won't get to see the next chapter, because apparently that part of the story is his favorite. And honestly, that line alone should make everyone nervous.
Kenny sees the impossible. Meanwhile, the story shifts back to the aftermath of Fatima's terrifying childbirth vision. She's still trying to explain what she saw while giving birth to the creature that became Smiley, and the more she talks about it, the more disturbing the revelation becomes. Fatima explains that during the birth, she saw a vision where the creatures made a terrible bargain with something powerful and horrifying. In order to become immortal, they sacrificed their own children. Now just think about that for a second. That means the monsters roaming the town at night might once have been human beings who traded their children for eternal life. It's an incredibly dark possibility, but Fatima struggles to remember the details clearly. Every time she tries to recall more of the vision, the memory slips away, almost as if something doesn't want her to remember what she saw.
While this conversation is happening, Kenny heads down into the underground tunnels, searching for Boyd. What he finds down there is something that should be completely impossible. Smiley, the same monster that Boyd killed and burned, is standing there alive, casually putting on clothes like nothing ever happened. And then he turns and gives Kenny that same creepy grin, the exact same smile that made him so terrifying before. Kenny is completely frozen in shock, because he personally helped Boyd cremate that creature. Before Kenny can even react, Boyd grabs him and pulls him out of the tunnels, back into the cellar, where they slam the door shut to keep the creatures from following. And that's when Boyd tells Kenny the truth. Smiley isn't just alive again, he's the creature that Fatima gave birth to, meaning the monsters in this town might not actually die at all. They might simply be reborn. Boyd's darkest plan yet. After everything Boyd has witnessed, he finally reaches a breaking point. When he returns to the sheriff's office with Kenny, he begins carefully laying out every bullet he has collected over the years. Kenny watches in confusion at first, but Boyd soon explains what he's doing. Boyd has come to a horrifying conclusion. If the monsters cannot truly be killed, then there might only be one way to escape the suffering they cause. Instead of letting the creatures torture them to death, Boyd wants the residents of the town to have another option. He wants to make sure there's one bullet for every person in the town, so that when the time comes, they can choose to end their own lives quickly, instead of dying slowly at the hands of the monsters. It's an incredibly dark idea, but when you remember how brutally the creatures kill their victims, it almost makes sense from Boyd's perspective. Kenny understands why Boyd feels this way, and after all, he was forced to watch his own mother die painfully in front of him. So Kenny gives Boyd a current head count of the town's population, 47 people. But hearing that number makes Boyd pause, because while the idea might sound logical in his head, convincing an entire town of 47 people to take their own lives is impossible. The moment he suggested something like that, the residents would probably assume he had lost his mind, or worse, that he was working with the monsters. A new arrival crashes into town. Just when things couldn't get any stranger, a car suddenly comes speeding into the township and crashes straight into the sheriff's office. Inside the car are two new arrivals, a pastor and a teenage girl named Sophia. The crash is severe. The pastor is unconscious and trapped in the driver's seat, while Sophia is still conscious but stuck with twisted metal dangerously close to her throat.
Tabitha rushes to help her and manages to wedge a holy Bible between the sharp metal pieces to stop them from cutting into Sophia's neck. It's a small but symbolic moment because religion begins to quietly play a bigger role in this episode's story. Boyd and Kenny work together to pull the pastor out of the wreck, while Sophia is taken to the ambulance where Marielle sedates her because she's in shock. Before she loses consciousness, Sophia explains that the crash happened because her father had a seizure while driving, and that detail immediately stands out because several other people in the town, like Ethan, Sarah, and Elgin, have also experienced seizures, which raises a disturbing possibility. Could these seizures be connected somehow? Could they be signs that certain people have been touched by whatever controls the town?
Tabitha and Jade's secret. At the same time, Tabitha reunites with Julie and Ethan, while Jade approaches her to discuss the shocking revelation they discovered earlier. According to the clues they uncovered, Tabitha and Jade might actually be reincarnations of two people from previous cycles of the town, Miranda and Christopher, which suggests their souls might keep returning in every loop, possibly because they are meant to save the mysterious children trapped in the town's story. But Tabitha decides they shouldn't tell anyone yet, because if they suddenly revealed that they were reincarnated soulmates destined to break the town's curse, nobody would believe them. The residents would just assume the town was manipulating them again. So they decide to keep the secret quiet for now. Meanwhile, Julie and Ethan keep asking the same question. Where is Jim? Tabitha doesn't actually know the answer, but her reaction feels strangely distant, almost like part of her already suspects the truth. Julie becomes frustrated and starts yelling, and Ethan bluntly asks the question everyone is afraid to say. Is Dad dead? That question hits Tabitha hard. Realizing she has to comfort her children even without knowing the truth. She tells them Jim is probably staying in the RV for the night. But just as things calm down, something terrifying begins happening inside their house. Objects start flying across the room like a violent poltergeist attack, which strongly suggests that whatever entity controls the town has now started targeting Tabitha directly. Boyd tells Fatima what she gave birth to. Back at Colony House, Boyd finally tells Fatima the truth. The creature she gave birth to wasn't just a monster, it was Smiley, one of the creatures that hunts them every night. Fatima's reaction is exactly what you would expect, complete horror and disbelief, because realizing that your own body produced the thing that might eventually kill you and your friends is an unimaginable trauma. Yet strangely, no one in the room seems shocked by the possibility itself. After everything they've experienced in this town, even something as horrifying as monsters being reborn from human hosts feels believable. Boyd then begins spiraling into another dark rant about how hopeless everything is, until Christy stops him, reminding him that if the town's leader loses hope, everyone else will follow. Ellis also tries to calm his father down, understanding that Boyd is simply overwhelmed by everything he has seen. The ending twist, Sophia's true identity. Later that night at the clinic, Sophia approaches Kenny and asks if she can contact her mother. While waiting, she asks him to pray with her. She talks calmly about how God is everywhere, even in places like this town. Kenny isn't particularly religious, but he agrees because he thinks it might comfort her. But something about Sophia feels strange. She accepts the terrifying reality of the town far too easily. Eventually, Kenny falls asleep while watching over the patients, and that's when the real horror begins. Sophia quietly walks over to the unconscious pastor and
kills him. Then she reveals the truth. She was never the pastor's daughter at all. She is actually the Yellow Suit Man. He apparently sensed the pastor entering the township, transformed himself into Sophia, and entered the town disguised as an innocent girl. The reason for the disguise is simple. Too many people had already heard rumors about the mysterious man in the yellow suit. If he had walked into the town openly, everyone would have panicked, so he hid in plain sight. There's even a possible biblical reference hidden in this moment. In 2 Corinthians 2:14, there's a line suggesting that Satan can disguise himself as an angel of light, meaning evil often appears in forms that seem pure and innocent, which might be exactly what the Yellow Suit Man is doing here.
What this means for the story. So by the end of this episode, the mystery surrounding the town becomes even deeper. The residents might be trapped inside repeating story cycles. Julie might be able to move between those cycles. The monsters might be reborn through human hosts. And the Yellow Suit Man appears to be directly manipulating events from inside the town itself. But the biggest question remains. Is the Yellow Suit Man actually the devil, or just a servant of something even more powerful controlling the town? With the story still building toward its final season, it's very possible that he's just a pawn in a much larger supernatural game. One thing is certain though, the villain is already inside the town, hiding among the residents, watching everything unfold. And the real question now is, how long will it take before someone realizes that Sophia isn't who she claims to be? Because when that truth finally comes out, the next chapter of the story might be even more terrifying than the last. And if this episode is only the beginning of the new season, things in From are about to get a lot more insane.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.